everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing another Tea with Nan on a Monday at 12 o'clock. And you like my little sign behind me? Yeah, and it says it's Tea with Nan live on air. Isn't that lovely? And you can see it the right way around now. I had another one that wasn't showing the right way around, and I've got this one now. It's brilliant. So I hope you've got your nice cup of tea and you can join me for today's Tea with Nan. I hope you've all had a lovely week. There's nobody on here just yet, but maybe they're getting their cuppa. Oh, it's lovely. So the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. And we've got busy lives, haven't we? So quite a lot of people have been reactive against all their pressure in life. And I thought, well, today I'm going to help them to relax a little bit and to trust the bigger picture. So sometimes when things don't go right, or, oh, hi, Laura, lovely to see you. Happy Monday. Hugs to you, my darling. So today's Tea with Nan is all about, it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. So it's about judging something and how that judgment can affect your physical and emotional self. And we suffer, don't we? We get absorbed by feelings. And if something happens, say we had an argument with someone or something's not quite right in our lives, we tend to spin that round in our heads, don't we? Hi, Julie. Happy Monday to you. Hi, Louise. Big Monday hugs to you too, my darling. I hope you're all okay. I'd like to think of you healthy and happy. But when we have those feelings that consume us on an emotional level, we tend to have, obviously, the thoughts go round and round and round, and you're kind of missing the beauty of the day, aren't you? Because you're so absorbed by what's going on around you. You want to find a solution to that, or you want to feel better. Oh, thank you, Louise. And thank you for the hugs, guys. Can't go wrong with hugs on a Monday, can you? So, yeah, those feelings can affect you. Your thoughts, the way you look at life, the way you feel. It can affect all those chakras that I keep going on about. I mean, most of our body energies are controlled, of course, by our thoughts and feelings. And so when you're feeling insecure about something, you're shutting down your main base chakra. When you're feeling bad about relationships, it's this area, etc. So each one of those chakra energies depend upon you feeling happy in those areas. And if you're not feeling happy, then you've got to do something about it, haven't you? Otherwise, of course, it's going to cause imbalance. So for that reason alone, it is good not to let judgment mar your physical or emotional health, okay, or self. So what I like to do is share this one because a lot of my clients love it. It isn't a good or bad thing, it just is a sentence in a particular story that is not mine. I've heard this story, it's called The Farmer's Story, and I heard it a very long time ago, many, many years. But I don't know where I heard it from, but obviously someone might tell me if they know of it. But obviously the story gets distorted in different ways, but how many people tell it. But I'll tell you my version, and I'll tell you how I use it, and then I'll help you to use it for yourself. Because this particular story is really good to help you detach from that judgment and to trust the bigger picture and to trust the fact that you can ease yourself through that particular situation with a good consequence, usually. Now, I've used it for many years in different situations and in quite major ones, actually, as well. Oh, Irene, hello. Lovely to see you. Happy Monday hugs to you, sweet. So if you just joined us, it isn't a good or bad thing. It just is really good. So, okay, I'll tell you why. So, okay, I'll tell you the story first. Once there was a farmer and all he had was one horse. He had no money. And the farmer's friend said, it's a bad thing you got that horse. You should sell it. Well, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, said the farmer. All I know is I have one horse. Later, oh, hi, Irene. Thank you, darling. Soon after, the horse runs away. Bad thing you got that horse, said the farmer's friend, because now you've got no horse and no money. He's run away. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, said the farmer. All I know is I have no horse. Short time after that, the horse comes back with 10 mares. Good thing that horse ran away, said the farmer's friends, because now you have lots of horses. Well, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, said the farmer. All I know is I have lots of horses. Short time after that, the farmer's son goes into the field, and the horse kicks him and breaks his leg. Bad thing you got that horse, said the farmer's friends. Now your son has a broken leg. Well, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, said the farmer. All I know is my son has a broken leg. Short time after that, war breaks out, and all the farmer's sons go to war except for the one with a broken leg. And some of them get killed. Good thing that horse broke your son's legs, said the farmer's friends, because your son didn't have to go to war. Well, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, said the farmer. All I know is I still have my son. And the moral to that story is how the farmer's friends were judging. It was good, it was bad, it was up and down, wasn't it? You know, it was never consistent. It was all that energy was wasted with that reaction. Oh, hi Maggie, lovely to see you, darling. Happy Monday. So the farmer's friends were, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, exhausting all the way through. But the farmer stayed consistent. He accepted it wasn't good or bad, it just is. It isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. So he trusted, thank you, he trusted the bigger picture. He trusted that everything happens for a reason. And so he didn't react with that up and down energy waste, really. It's like heating the house and letting and then open all the doors and let all the heat go out. all the energy's gone. It's a waste of energy to be the farmer's friends. It's much better to be the farmer, because if you can have acceptance of that moment and trust that something good will come from it, then it hasn't got control over your feelings or the reaction in your body. So if you say to yourself, and you have far more mental ability to deal with it as well, because you're not reacting in that kind of way. And one of the examples, quite a big example actually, I've used it for lots of little things in my life when I find myself judging a person or a situation or myself. I'll come to that later. But basically, when you don't know how you're going to cope with a situation that's consuming you, that's probably the best way to explain this. It's good to use this one. It isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. Be the farmer, like I was on one particular day. I had to bury my mum a few years back, and she was my best friend. I loved her so much. And I was in a very bad situation around that as well. So I had so many things going on. And I thought, how am I going to get through this day so that I can make it the best celebration for her? I mean, this is quite a big thing. So I thought, how can I do that when I was already consumed with all those feelings? So, thank you for the hearts. So what did I do? I just centered myself, and I said to myself that my mother going that day and I was having to bury her that day wasn't a good or bad thing, it just is. And acceptance brought peace. It brought a nice feeling of stillness to me. And I was able to then think, okay, I'm going to make this the best day now, because it isn't a good or bad thing. So my reaction was calm, and we had a wonderful day. It was a beautiful celebration day. Everything was as she would have wanted it to be. And so I had more control of my feelings, and I was able to make the best of that situation because it wasn't a good or bad thing. So I wasn't up and down. Not everyone, they might think, oh, I can't do that. I've got, feelings are very powerful, aren't they? And thoughts are. But you can try practicing this for little things. It might be the car breaks down. It might be, as I put on my list here, it might be having an argument with someone, maybe family, friends, maybe someone doesn't get you, maybe you've had a disagreement. And you think, oh, that's terrible. How could they think that? Or whatever reaction you're getting, what you're feeling. And you might judge that. So when you find yourself judging, you might not understand the bigger picture anyway. You're only seeing that view of your own. You're not seeing their view. But something good will always come from that, because in that particular situation, you might have the opportunity to learn more about communication. And there's loads of good things can come from something bad. It might be that you become closer to that person once you've resolved that problem. Or if you don't resolve the problem, you might take action, and that, again, might lead to something that's positive in your life. So it's always a good thing. There's always good that will follow something bad. And you've got to trust it isn't a good or bad thing, but you're just going to kind of just ride the wave, if you like, not accepting everything if it's terrible, if it's something bad towards you, if you're in some situation that's not good. Okay, you can take some action. But if you're not judging it with that consumed thoughts, feelings thing going around like a marble in a tin, you're actually able to think clearly and to do more about that situation, whatever it is, whether it's something tiny or whether it's something major, because some people react quite strongly to small things, and some other people might not react to that thing. The washing machine breaks down, it's not a big deal, but to some people it might be. So it's that kind of thing. You've got to understand people have their reactions are usually programmed from their whole lifetime. So this is a nice way of kind of going over that reaction so you feel in control and you can find a resolve or a solution to whatever you're going through. And one day you'll look back and you go, do you know, I was really calm in that situation. And that's going to give you a good feeling. Because so many people, as I say, are dragged down by it. And if you can think, I'm going to do this for 3 reasons. I'm going to say, every time I find myself reacting against the news, reacting against that story, reacting against that person, reacting against the past, anything that you react against, that you're judging, whether it be someone else's situation or yourself, you could say this just to give you that clarity, because you're not jumbled up with all those other thoughts and feelings that you've been feeling for years. So just that clarity of, isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. Really nice feeling. And then, as I say, you can deal with it. And good for your body too, because even if you think about it, as I say, there's 3 reasons. 1, because you then get the opportunity, if you're calm, to see the bigger picture, their view, maybe the situation around that, offering maybe compassion or forgiveness or whatever. And the second thing is you're actually helping your body, like I've just said, because while you're feeling that calm, you haven't got your adrenal levels going. You haven't got that feeling of, oh, this is heavy, you know, heavy thoughts or heavy mind, heavy heart. So it helps you physically as well while you're doing this, because in that moment where you're just thinking it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is, I'm going to be the farmer, you're not reacting, you're calm, you're clear, and it makes it easier for you to deal with, as I say. So that's the second reason. And the third reason, of course, like I always talk about, is the law of attraction. Because you are feeling that peace, you're more likely to attract the peace into your mind. You know, if we think peaceful thoughts for a minute, you're more likely to look around you and feel more peace or see it, because that's the way it works. You know, we attract more of what we're feeling. So it's good to feel peaceful. And this is a really nice way to give you acceptance and peace. And something good always follows something bad. So quite a few people say, well, what about this? And what about this? It's really bad. Yes, it might be bad. It might not be good for you, but it teaches you something, doesn't it? There's always something good will come from that. You know, you get stronger from situations. My own past especially, I've had loads of challenges, and I think, well, I've become stronger because of it. And I'm able to help people in those situations now because I've experienced it. So that gives you a whole different way of looking at it, doesn't it? So I've written a note down here. I don't think I've actually followed this today. So there's a couple of things that happens when you use this saying. Maybe write it down. Maybe put it somewhere you can remind yourself next time you find you're reacting against something. Think, am I judging that? Yes. You know, we could be judging it just from one little view, and we might actually be hurting ourselves and drawing more of it to us. So let's just think of this. If someone has done you an injustice, I'm going to think, it's not a good bad thing. Not a good or bad thing, it just is. That doesn't let them off the hook, by the way. It just means that you see it clearly, and then you can react. And it might be that you hadn't considered their view from that point. Okay? It might just give you another insight, or certainly calm you down while you deal with it. So to help feel in control, absolutely. You feel in control when you take back that initial reaction, that combustion of feelings. You know, that helps this area here, your solar plexus, helps you feel a stronger sense of self, and it helps you physically in that area. So you feel like, oh, hi Karen, lovely to see you, darling. Happy Monday. So it helps you to feel in control of your feelings and your emotions. That's important, because when we feel that, we don't feel fear, do we? You know, and when we're not feeling fear, we're more in control. We feel better. It's a nice circle, isn't it? So if we're not fearful, you're actually able to make a difference in your life. Fear holds us back. So, okay, to bring peace to your mind, well, I've just said that, and also peace to your heart as well. It might be to forgive yourself from something you judge yourself over. Maybe years ago you did this or that happened, or you judge someone else that you can't feel you can get resolved from. Maybe someone's not around anymore or whatever, and you're judging that situation. Perhaps you weren't there for someone. All those things that get in the way. But judgment can be very hard on your immune system. Very hard on this area here. So if we take away judgment, we take away fear. And then all of our problems disappear. But if it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. It gives it a chance to heal, doesn't it? So if you're judging yourself from anything, and most people do, let's face it, we all do, I certainly did, and still do sometimes. If we judge ourselves, then we are pulling our energy down. Our emotional balloon is going down. Understand ourselves. Give ourselves compassion. As we say, it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. And just is will give you that calm acceptance. And that calm acceptance will help you to move forward in some area to resolve it, or to find peace with it. So, and keep your emotional balloon high as well. So you're having a calm influence on other people, aren't you? Because if you're not reacting with that feeling, you know, the energy of that judgment, then other people are going to feel more relaxed around you. So that's going to be good. So, you know, other people do tend to feel what we feel. Even if we're hiding it, they still feel it. It's the vibe. So it's good to influence other people in a calm way, isn't it? So if you take back that reaction, when everyone else is flapping around with that feeling, you know, they're all reacting about something, just be calm inside and say that. And then you will influence those people. And also it helps you not to take things personally, doesn't it? I mean, if you step back from it, you might realise that that person or that situation would have happened, not so much, you might feel it's happening to you or it's about you, but it might be something that person always does to people. And that might give you more understanding or more compassion or indifference. That's even better if you're taking it personally. So you won't be taking it personally. Oh, by the way, if you've got a talk, I've got a talk I was going to reference here, Tea with Nan. It was on the 6th of the 6th. So what we're doing here is Tea with Nan. And if you go onto my website, you can find it there, okay? So it's www.nancyfinch.co.uk, and you can find Don't Take It Personally. It helps you to detach from that reaction. That might help to add to it isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. A lot of people have found that very useful because it gives them back their power, gives them back control. And that's what we need to stop feeling fear, isn't it? Another thing I was going to reference on the Nan Talks. Nan Talks are on my website I've just given you. A little chakra man here. And if you go on to the orange section, it's the funniest video I've ever done, ever. It's the worst one. And I would not take it down because I will not judge myself on it. It's not a good or bad thing, it just is. It's hilarious. It's a Bridget Jones moment all the way through it. But it's called Sticks. So it's in the orange section. And it's where I didn't have a go at myself. But getting every single thing wrong I was trying to do when I was doing the broadcast. It was so funny. It's definitely the worst one I've ever done. But it is the funniest. And I look at it and I think, it's not a good or bad thing, just is. And that just brings a whole different view to it, doesn't it? You know, you could measure yourself by when you get it right. Oh, yeah. So that's a good thing. Trust the bigger picture. If you get it wrong or if you're judging yourself, there's an opportunity there for you to get to either get it right or to see it as a different view to it. You know, maybe see yourself as being, you know, you needing to give yourself something that you're missing from the outside world. Maybe a bit more love and maybe a bit more, as I say, compassion, kindness to yourself. So saying that is a really good thing. It isn't a good or bad thing. It just is. Because then you're not judging it. You know, everyone's got different views of what's good and bad. But our own personal view to that should be, I'm reacting. I'm feeling my emotional balloon coming down. I'm overthinking this. I'm feeling it in my tummy. How many people, when they're stressed and worried about a situation, feel that tightness in their tummy? It's not good for you. And it doesn't help your inner child either. That would make you very contained in that thought and feeling. And you won't see the beauty around you and you won't move forward. You'll just be contained with that feeling. And it will have some kind of negative effect on you, even if it's just bad dreams. And a lot of people I know have had loads of bad dreams. And when you find yourself having bad dreams, it usually means that something needs to change. And you have to work on that. So instead of thinking, oh, that's terrible, think about what do I need from that? And then you'll find a solution, especially if you're not judging it. So I think that's what I've got on here. What have I got else, I think? Yeah, so when something goes wrong, just going back to that, when something goes wrong, usually something will go right from it. You know, if something bad happens to one of our friends, family, ourselves, we tend to be contained with that reaction of what's going on here. But if we trust that perhaps that saved your life, you didn't go over here in that avenue of life. You know, people have a puncture in their car, they pulled to the side of the road and they missed a major accident that was happening down the road. Something good will always come from something bad. It's a yin-yang thing. So next time you find yourself reacting that it might be a nuisance, it might be a problem, something's happened that frustrates you. Frustration is only fear of not being in control. So, thank you for the hearts, guys. That's so lovely. Big hugs to you. So check yourself. When you find that tension in your body, it might be, the little clue might be it's in your tummy that you feel it. It might be that you're thinking of a thought over and over again. How can I change that? So your tummy might physically tell you by its tension. You know, it feels like little knots in your tummy when you're frightened of something or when you're not in control, doesn't it? So that might be your indication to check you to find out, am I judging something? Oh, yeah, that's terrible. Shouldn't have happened. Not happening to me. And basically that reaction is losing. We're losing our control through that reaction. So bring it back. It isn't a good or bad thing. It just is. Now, where do I stand? Do I trust the bigger picture? Yes. Do I take action? Maybe, but I'm not going to take it personally. And that's always, as I say, an empowering thing to do. So I want you to feel in control. I want you to feel peaceful. I want you to take back that reaction, because we judge something that happens to us, and before we know it, we're hurting ourselves and drawing more of it into our lives. So it might trigger a feeling you've always had. So if you get used to saying it, and little things and big things, then it will help you through your day. It'll help you to be calm enough to see where you're going. Because the farmer had more control over his feelings and what he was going to do about it than the farmer's friends were up and down. All that energy was wasted. So I hope that's helped some people today. I love sharing this. It was really, I've always shared it with my clients, and it's helped them to see, well, if I say it's not a good or bad thing, even though your subconscious may argue, well, this is going to believe you, but the conscious bit that says it may go, no, that's not true. It's terrible. He shouldn't treat me that way. She shouldn't do this. That's judgment, and we don't understand the bigger picture. Because quite often, as you come back, if you look back at what we thought was a terrible thing, something good either happened from it, we learned something, it may have prevented something bigger from happening to us that we didn't want, it may have led us into a new direction. So if you can think it isn't a good or bad thing, then you're trusting the bigger picture and your soul journey. You're not thinking, oh, this is terrible, and consuming yourself in a tiny place of reaction. Instead, you're calm enough to see the bigger picture, or maybe not see the bigger picture. Trust the bigger picture is going to show itself to you. And when you look back on it, you'll go, that was really good because that made me feel this, and closer to a person maybe from that trusting the bigger picture. A lot of relationships need this. So, you'll find a way around those things, and you'll find a solution if only you can remind yourself not to be stuck in that initial reaction. Okay, whether it's whatever it is that's going on around you, practice this for a week or two and see how you feel. Because I know I love it. It takes away that reaction, gives you back the control, gives you peace, gives you a feeling of, oh, okay, just for now, I'm not going to judge it. And that, it's a lovely feeling, beautiful. So I hope you can all play with that, share this with everybody, because you never know, it might be just what people need, what a friend or a family member needs, just to remember to give them some peace while they can heal in that peace. And it might be, as I say, things from the past. That's why I referenced 6, because I was very self-judgment all my life, self-judging. And if I then said it wasn't a good or bad thing, kind of acceptance is a form of love and healing, isn't it, for yourself and others. So if anybody wants to talk to me, you can always email me, nancyfinch@hotmail.co.uk. And just remember, you deserve that peace. You deserve to be in control. Don't allow anything or anyone to move your emotions into a place of turmoil, because that isn't good for you, it's not good for them, and it's not good for collective consciousness either. So we're taking back the control by giving ourselves that stillness. And that sentence will do it for you. I mean, that must have been about 45 years ago I heard that story, and I remember it. I use it. Not every day, but when you need to. It will just bring you back to yourself rather than the reaction of what's going on around you. So, I think we've covered everything. All of that on the board has been said. That's good. So, I'm going to give you all a big Monday hug, everybody. And I hope you can play with this sentence. I'll say it one more time. If you want to write it down, be the farmer, okay? Not the farmer's friends. It isn't a good or bad thing. It just is. Okay? And I hope you find peace from that. It's lovely. So, big hugs to you all. Namaste moment. Lots of love. And I shall see you next Monday for another Tea with Nan. In between that, we've got a full moon, and I'll be doing another full moon recording, and I shall put that on my website, and you'll be able to enjoy that, and I'll reference it next week. Lots of love. Enjoy the full moon, and that full moon might bring up lots of issues, lots of feelings. So remember this little saying, okay? Hi, Annie. I'm sorry you missed me, darling. You can always listen to it again. You already know what I'm talking about today because I've shared it with you before. But perhaps with a full moon influence this week, don't worry. It doesn't matter if you're late. It isn't a good or bad thing. It just is. So, okay, with the full moon influence this week, you might find emotions coming to the surface more, or someone else's. Just keep saying that sentence. It isn't a good or bad thing, it just is. Just to give you that respite from those reactions, all right? Big hugs, especially to you, Anne, that's joined late. See you all next week. Oh, that's all right, my sweet. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. I shall see you next week, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Keep your emotional balloon high. Take care. Bye.